We're live, and lo and behold, it's October. How did that happen? Well, because time no longer has any meaning. That's what I ascribe everything to, really. My inability to keep pace with the world, my wondering what the hell happened and that type of thing, all because time doesn't mean anything. Ugh. It is just this strange and mysterious and troublesome world we live in. And we've just got to do the best we can in a truly bizarre and messed up environment that we find ourselves in. Annette, howdy. How are you? How has the day been treating you? I just spent my whole day doing research, reading, finding information, which again, it's not bad. It's a sort of nerdy thing that I like to do, but that's what I've been doing. Alexa, yes, you are in fact the second person to say hello in the chat. And that you want out, just generally? Oh, you went out. I misread that. Yes, going out is good. I went out to get some takeaway and get a few things from the supermarket. That's my out. But you saw a friend and the kid at the park for an hour. Yes, that's a win in our current environment. That is a very positive way to spend some time. On board with that. Alexa, you were doing a net conference all day. I had, I guess, 2 hours on conference with people, 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon. And the intervening time, I was reading about how secure is Microsoft's email encryption, basically. That's my day. Fucking nerd. Yes, big win, Annette. That actually sounds excellent. And it was a nice enough day. Next couple of days are apparently going to be quite warm. And so I was just thinking Saturday, warm, sunny. There's going to be a bunch of stupid fucking people who go out and completely breach the rules of how many people are allowed to meet up. Like, you did the right thing in it, meeting up with one friend. There's going to be people getting together in big groups, and then they're going to be upset that they get fined $5,000. Charlie took Ludo to the dog beach. Now he's sleeping with his head in your lap. That's cute. Tired himself out at the dog beach. I guess that's what you want to do with a big fella like Ludo. Let them have a really enthusiastic romp so they tire themselves out somewhat. Give you a little bit of a break. But much like toddlers, dogs and toddlers, you want to let them run around a bit and tire themselves out. And then they can look cute while they're sleeping, which is usually a bit less stressful on the parent. So, yes. I mean, for amusement, I've taken to feeding the birds, put out food for them in the trays, basically just leftovers. If I have some leftovers, and sometimes it's because the magpies, etc., are all carnivores. So if there's leftover meat, I'll put that out, or some bread. And in fact, a family of magpies came out. There's 3 of them, the 2 adults and their near adult offspring. It still had some grey in its feathers, and I thought, they're come looking for some food, and I just had a bit of bread, and I went to the back door and opened it, and I thought they're probably going to fly away when I opened the door, seeing me as a threat. But no, one of them, as the youngest one, just walked right up to me, walked right up to the door. I was like, oh, cool, you're the one who's been putting out some food. Can I have some more? And so I just fed them food. So making friends with the neighborhood magpies so they don't swoop me, essentially. So, yeah. Yes, Joe, I agree. Dogs are basically big, hairy toddlers. Well, in your case, a big, hairy toddler. Sometimes they're little. Luke, you just want Port to win over cats. Well, I have not paid the remotest attention to the football this year. I barely ever pay any attention, but even less so this year. And you took Scruff and one of your daughters with you. So, you got out and Scruff's tuck it out. Yes. Yeah, it's good for both humans and animals to get a bit of a run around occasionally. So that's good. I don't see, because I face out the window, so I quite like it if it's a sunny day. I'm looking out in sunshine in the garden, and that's why I started feeding the birds, because I like when the birds come around. Nothing very exotic, actually. Magpies and wattlebird and Indian minor birds are the ones that come down to feed. There's a couple others that I see around that haven't come down to feed. There are these tiny little finch things. I have no idea what they are, but they're really small, and they flit around the fence, so I've never been able to get a really good look at them. Hello, Readers and Heine. Hello, hello, hello. Heine, you haven't seen any of the football on your go-to news sites? Yes. It's just, been thinking about other things these past 6 months. And like I said, I don't normally pay much attention to the foosball anyway, but far less so this year. But as it is, it is what it is. Now I got a plan. I got tomorrow night is, of course, party night, and got a plan. Gonna dress up formal Friday and do some cocktail videos. I've got to decide what to do, because I'm going to want to do 3 videos. I think the first one's going to be a vodka one, because it's vodka day on the weekend. It's going to be late. I don't care. Just say, hey, it was vodka day, so it made me, I almost never make vodka cocktails, because vodka doesn't fucking taste of anything. Vodka's just in a cocktail to get you pissed, basically, which, so I'm fucking okay with. So I found, when I was looking at vodka cocktails, I found one, and I just fucking love the name of it. And it sounds pretty good too. It's called Wanton Abandon on the Difford site. So it's got strawberries in it. So it's like they're saying muddle some strawberries with vodka, lemon juice, and sugar syrup. Shaky, 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 then top with champagne. So what I'm going to do is actually prepare, because it's also, the other reason this is great is it's peak strawberry season. Strawberries are super fucking cheap at the moment. So I'm going to prepare the strawberries, like slice them up and caster sugar on them. So the caster sugar draws all the syrup out of the strawberries. Do that like a half hour, an hour before I make the cocktail, and so then I also don't have to put any sugar syrup in the drink, so it'll just be strawberries and sugar and lemon juice and vodka. And I don't have or like champagne, so I'll probably top it with apple cider. And I think that sounds good. Hellion, hello to you, Kirsten. Yes, Kirsten, vodka is the sad tale of alcohol that could have been gin, if only they distilled it again with some botanicals. I did see that, Luke, that today was National Coffee Day. I preferred to go with, today was the day the Nuremberg trial handed down judgment on the Nazis and sentenced a bunch of them to death, as they fucking deserved. We could sort of be retro and bring back the Nuremberg trials as far as I'm concerned, with the fuckers who are around at the moment. Ooh, Raider out in Donvale, you get kookaburras and king parrots. In the general neighborhood, we get rainbow lorikeets and a lot of them, but for some reason, not my backyard. Like, just as a walk, like daily walk going down to the park and stuff. It's only about a 2 or 3 kilometer walk, really, maybe 4 kilometer walk. Anyway, 2 or 3 kilometers, and the round trip, and it's rainbow lorikeets everywhere. But they don't come into my backyard for some reason. Not really sure why. Charlie, you also think vodka is the sad tale of alcohol that could have been gin. Well, I've got a bunch of gins. For some reason, I've become a rum guy, which I never intended, but now I've got a silly amount of rums. Nowhere near approaching the impressive array of gins that Kirsten has, but I would never have expected I would have 6 or more rums at one time. Oh, Charlie, you get butcher birds. Try to steal the cat food. Yeah, I remember someone online saying, "Oh, I never knew why they were called butcher birds until I saw one fucking murder another bird." Because they are fucking lethal. Raiders, you reckon getting wild bird seed from Coles will attract them? You may well be right. I might do that, actually. That's a pretty good idea. Get some sort of bird feeder. Oh, nice, Kirsten. Husband is watching the AFL, but he's actually making you a cocktail right now. That is quite nice. I think I might make a cocktail, but I want to do some taste comparison because I've been, I believe I mentioned that got some of Mrs. Angry's homemade wines out. And this is stuff she made in the 90s. So it's quite a good vintage. And there's a plum wine. And I had a go at clarifying it. And I want to do some taste tests because I think it would make a good vermouth, because it's an aromatized wine. That's what vermouth is. Wine that's infused with various aromatic herbs and fruits and whatnots. And I might do a side-by-side taste test of the plum wine in its basic state and then the the clarified one, and then 1 or 2 of the vermouths I have, and see if they feel like they're in the same family. Charlie, you reckon putting seed out makes them fat? You just remind me of the story seen online of people who were feeding this kookaburra sausages and it got so fat it couldn't fly, had to be taken to a vet who put it on a diet and basically put it on rehab. So A, it could lose weight, and then B, learn how to fly again. And the picture, it's just this fucking circular kookaburra, a chonk kookaburra. It's fucking, I mean, okay, it's actually quite bad for the kookaburra, but it's still fucking hilarious. The image of it was just hilarious. Not sure I want to. I mean, rainbow lorikeets are beautiful, but they're horrible noisy. Now, all the birds are noisy. And as much as I don't like Indian minor birds because they're introduced and they're a pest, their song is nice. I like magpie's song. The wattlebird doesn't really have a song. I did see one just sitting there telling other birds to piss off, going, ah, ah, ah. So I don't know what, if any, song the wattlebird has, but I do like the sounds of the minor birds and the sounds of the magpies. Raiders, did I endure the bait? Dude, I lasted somewhere between 30 seconds and 15 minutes. I honestly couldn't tell you. Just think. Charlie, the native miners are little bastards. They're also called noisy miners by a lot of, and that's the weird thing. They look a bit like the introduced one. The Indian myna is spelled Mynah, and the natives are called miners, miners, which I find weird. And they do kind of seem to be related. But I'd love that they've called the native miners noisy miners because they're noisy little fuckers. Luke, did I see the story of some guy charged with pedophilia who was too fat for prison? No, I did not. Seems like the sort of story that would stick in my memory. I'm confident I can say do that. Yeah. Yeah, that seems weird. But yes, I guess there's a lot of native birds that are bastards, really. Cockatoos can be right bastards. I really like cockatoos. But they can be right bastards. Raiders, you listen to Pod Save America's take on it. I mean, it was just, as someone on CNN actually said on air, it was a shit show. It was an embarrassment. It was an illustration of a country in collapse. It's just freaky. Charlie, you're terrified of cockatoos. I like cockatoos, but you want to be careful of them. Down the Great Ocean Road, there's a good spot to stop where there's a bunch of, there's a koala colony, which can be cool if you find the koalas, and there's king parrots will come down and eat out of your hand, and and they're pretty good. And there's some smaller parrots, and occasionally cockatoos, like sulfur-crested cockatoos, come in. And I was there with a tourist friend, and he was trying to feed the sulfur-crested cockatoo. And I know from experience, they're not one you really want to eat out of your palm because that huge hook beak they have. And I was just saying to him, be a bit careful, hold your hand really flat. And the cockatoo got like the fleshy bit of his finger and chomped. And he's, yeah. And I'm like trying not to laugh because it's like, well, I fucking said, be careful. But yes. Yeah, Luke, all three of them talking at once led to my favorite tweet. I saw a woman on Twitter saying, turns out 3 old white men talking over each other is my least favorite noise in the world. Oh, Charlie, you had a guy at the pub with his pet cockatoo in the shoulder. You don't have to get away. We had a pet sulfur-crested cockatoo when I grew up because they live a really fucking long time if nothing kills them, which sounds like a ridiculous thing. But in terms of their natural lifespan is easily decades. And it was a really good talker. But yeah, I would never let it eat out of my hand or if I can try and let it stand on me with those big fucking claws. And whereas that's the thing we do with these king parrots. They like land on you and whatnot. And they're a little bit scritchy, but nothing dramatic. But a fucking sulfur-crested cockatoo would just tear your skin up. It's like, no. What do you reckon, Music Aviator? The presidential debate, the great demonstration of 22. Fucking typifies 2020 is what I reckon. You understand why your dad likes Trump. Talk to people the same way. Poor version of Trump without business connection. That is why Trump's core supporters support him, not because of who he is or what he does. It's just because he validates their horribleness. He validates their bigotry. He validates them being absolute pieces of shit because he's a piece of shit and he brutalizes people they want to brutalize. He is just the worst. Yes, Raiders, it was pretty much 2 Grandpa Simpsons going at each other. But adding a bit of blood orange juice to my orange juice. Just because I can. Yes, Raiders, there is a thing about how rich Trump actually is. He actually appears to be $400 million in debt personally. So, yeah, he's a piece of shit. All his supporters are pieces of shit. And I say that without reservation. Absolutely without reservation. Anyone, this is not everyone who votes for the Republican Party, because you'll always get 20 to 30% of people will vote for their party no matter what. They may despise the individual candidate, but they'll vote for their party no matter what. And I still think that's really shitty. But anyone who would openly call themselves an active supporter of Trump is a fucking piece of shit. No reservations whatsoever. No gray area. If someone says, I support Donald Trump, they are the scum of the fucking earth. So, Kirsten, you're arguing with husband about the new gin, Ironbark Wattle Seed. He's mad about the mouthfeels. Someone was asking me, because I posted the picture, because I got my coral gin the other day, and someone's asking me what it's like, and I'm like, it's good. And they go, what is it? Is it botanical? Is it this? And I'm like, I'm real fucking bad at that. I don't have the words. I'm a bad person to say what it is. What does it taste like? It's kind of all spicy in my mouth. It's the alcohols, you know. I'm just so bad at it. Oh, Charlie, torn between feeding Ludo and letting him sleep so cutely. I know that feeling. I try to. It's the cats in my house. Sometimes they're in the way or they're sitting on me. It's like, I'm getting it up though. You're going to be upset when I do it. But that's the way things go sometimes. We gotta make those hard choices. Ugh. So look, I was taste testing that coconut rum I got last night, and sort of making daiquiris or daiquiri variants with it, which were fine. But I think I actually found the right recipe to try it and get it at its best as a rum old fashioned. Kirsten, you hadn't tasted coral, so you couldn't help me. And it's like they say it's salty. I don't taste any salt in it at all. Even I tasted, well, you probably saw. I tasted the finger lime and the coral side by side, and I did not have the wordy words to say how they're different, as you say. Yeah, Raiders, I'm with you in that if someone voted for Trump in 2016 because he was the Republican candidate, or maybe they thought there was another, but they've backed off and said, oh, that was a terrible idea, and they decided they can't vote for him, so they're either not voting. Some might vote for Biden. They might as well, because he's just a fucking Republican. They might vote for an independent or whatever. But yeah, I'm not going to bury someone just because they voted for him in 2016. Like I said, it's someone who says they are an active supporter of Trump without hesitation, without qualification, no equivocation. Fuck them. They are the fucking scum of the earth. Hey, Stella, how are you? It's going to be me having a rant about Trump supporters and what fucking shit they are. But because they are. And I see this shit in America of the people who are the brains of the Democratic Party, the DNC, the Democratic National Congress. Got to try and win over these Republicans. Dude, they fucking hate you. Just tell them they're all pieces of shit and be done with it. They fucking hate you. You need to get undecided voters and non-voters. This ridiculous thing. How can we appeal to the Republicans? They're fucked. They are psychopaths. You know, and they say that you're weak as shit, and they're pretty right. Yes, Raiders, same play to Morrison. If I would be mortified, someone who said they're an active supporter of Scott Morrison, that he's a great prime minister, I would just be mortified. Not reviling them the same as I would a Trump supporter, but just mortified that you're that fucking stupid. It's just, God. Yeah, Stella, it's very hard to tell what's going to happen. Trump is riling up all that fucking MAGA crowd about if he loses, it's going to be because they cheated. And they say, it was civil war. But, they've also been saying that for a very long time. But I don't know, shit's fucked up, yo. And it's impossible to predict. I want to say it's not going to happen because it's too big a deal and blah, blah, blah. But it could happen really fucking easily. It could happen really easily. And even if there's not a civil war as such, you can imagine a lot of people being brutalized and murdered by right-wing thugs. It's just like fucking hell. Oh, God, Raiders, you're in Kevin Andrews' federal seat. Oh, my God. Yeah, well, I live in like the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, a whole fucking strip of Liberal Party seats. I had this vain hope at the last election they were going to lose a bunch of them, but we all saw what happened at the last federal election. Jesus, fuck me sideways. Yep. So the Liberals held on to all these blue ribbon seats. They were fucked in the state election. They got fucked over in these seats in the state election, which was brilliant. But yep, did not go the same way in the federal election. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah. God, that was true. Because I was doing a live stream on election night, I remember, and it's like, okay, well, this is just depressing as fuck. I'm going to bed. Because, I really thought, like most people, I thought the Liberals were getting voted out, and they didn't. And unlike, again, I saw some other, lefty political commentators trying to say how they weren't upset by the result because blah, 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 blah. I was like, get fucked. I refuse to pretend. I was really depressed by the result. I don't care if that makes right wingers going, lefty tears. I was like, dude, it was fucking depressing. It was really fucking depressing. Raiders, it does say a lot about Matthew Guy. I love the post-mortem into the Liberals' absolute failure in the last state election was hilarious because it basically went with, what the fuck were you thinking with your law and order? With the double prong, first, everyone knew Matthew Guy had his lobster with a mobster. He's talking law and order and having fundraising dinners with someone identified by the federal police as a major figure in organized crime, allegedly. And on top of it, you kept going with that fucking lie about everyone in Melbourne scared to leave their home because of the African gangs. And then people went, no, I'm not. Why do you keep saying that? I don't know anyone who feels like that. And they were just told, like, that was the dumbest fucking campaign ever. What the fuck is wrong with you? Stella, you're watching a COVID concert from Red Rock. Support act not paying full attention. Lack of audience is weird. Yeah, it really is. I've seen vision of a few COVID concerts, and it's fucking weird. Good Spirit, hello to you. I assume it's morning for you. Stella, you're at a birthday party in a safe Labor seat on election night. Mood of the party crashed. Oh, that would be... a fucking birthday party? Oh, that would suck. To have your birthday fucking ruined by something like that. That would just suck. Oh, that's probably AIDSy. All right, let's email him a link. Like he's just went, I think his sense of time is even worse than mine. Mine is bad. Send email to AZ. All right, done. I'll let him know. Okay. Charlie, you were at a party too, got too drunk, started yelling about it, so you quickly walked home. Oh no. Oh God. Abigail, you just watched the US presidential debate. Yep. Absolute shit show. Whoever does the next one, they have to do something. They have to say to Trump, like, you actually have to shut the fuck up, okay? And everyone's saying we should mute his microphone. And you should tell him that that's what's happening. So the party took on a wake vibe for a few hours. Then it went silly. Okay, I can imagine that. Ah, yes. Raiders, the Mafia, and the Liberal Party, and Amanda Vanstone defending them. It's fucking weird. But again, there's that post-mortem was hilarious. It's going, what the fuck are you doing going Law and Order when everyone knows you had a fundraiser with that guy? And why do you keep saying to people that they're scared to leave their homes? You can't tell people something about themselves that's not true, you fucking idiot. Still, you're at the Greens election party. Mood took a bad turn. Yep. Oh, Raiders, did they actually confirm that? They will mute mics in the next... That would be funny. I want to see that because Trump is a fucking child. Won't control himself. He will tantrum the fuck out. If they cut his mic, he will tantrum the fuck out. I will watch it just for that because he will chuck his fucking toys out of the bassinet. That would be great. That would be fucking great. Although, look, the next federal election is a long way off. But given the Liberals are almost certainly going to win because Labor is so fucking useless, so ineffectual, so pathetic. Ugh. Sorry, Charlie, you just said dinner time and Ludo's eyes just snapped open. Yep, animals be like that. They really do. All right. I am going to do a taste test and see if this plum wine tastes like vermouth. Right, you're going to stalk Biden like Hillary, but that would be another thing. They would say, like, get the fuck back to your podium. Stand there, you fucking lunatic. And it was kind of funny that Biden just said, what did he say? He said, just shut up, man. Another one, like, keep on yapping. The one thing I would say, and I would just feel compelled to say it to him because of his behavior, I'd just say, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you like that? That is not how an adult behaves. What are you doing? There we go. Oh, yes, the giant cat tree. Cat wasn't interested, so he bought catnip spray. Now I can't get her out of it. There you go. See, we tried catnip. It doesn't work on all cats. Neither of our cats is attracted to catnip, which is weird. Oh, God. Raiders, Albo's the Gift Morrison lead. Albanese, but he used to be this lefty firebrand and whatnot. I just thought, finally they got rid of fucking Shorten, the piece of shit. He should never have been elevated to leadership after the role he played in the both fuck-ups with Rudd and Gillard. He was instrumental in both of those happening and rewarding him with the leadership after that fucking shit show was ridiculous. So I thought, Albanese, he was like an old school lefty, finally, and he's weak as piss. God, it's like I was saying, I'd worry about someone's brain power if they said something glowing about fucking Morrison. When I hear fucking Labour brokens saying how great Labour is in opposition and how great Albanese is, I was going, what the fuck are you looking at? What Labour Party are you looking at? What Albanese? Because it's not the one I'm seeing. It's fucking weird. Raiders, what do I reckon the chances of Dan Andrews being promoted federally? I don't know. They do that sort of thing a lot. So who knows? Guess it depends what Dan Andrews want to do. Depends an enormous amount on the next year and what ends up happening with COVID, etc., and how people end up feeling. He's done all the right things so far, but there's just so many unknowns. There's so many variables. It's impossible to know what will be happening in 6 months and how people will be feeling in 6 months. But look, for instance, if we go through all this pain and hardship, and it is, and honestly, for me, it's not, but for a huge number of people, this is fucking horrible. Losing money, businesses going broke, hopes and dreams dashed. It's fucking hard. This shit is fucking hard. But if we get through it, even though a lot of people will have suffered permanent loss, quite honestly, but if we get through it, and then, because I think the next 6 months are going to be really fucking bad for the rest of the world. And I was going to say Europe and North America. It's not. It's Europe, North America, South America, Central Asia, probably Russia, probably fucking everywhere is going to have a really fucking bad time for the next 6 months. And if, like, you know, there's 1 million dead so far, if that turns into 10 million in the next 6 months, and that's only a mildly bad outcome. So what people don't seem to believe, don't seem to understand, without a vaccine, something like 10 million dead globally is a huge fucking win that we probably won't get without a vaccine. So if we're still comparatively safe and the rest of the world goes to shit, I think, you know, that's massive brownie points for Andrews, but we'll see. Tanya Plibasek, Raiders. Plibbers. I kind of like Plibbers, but she's, oh man, just the Federal Labor Party generally are so fucking weak at the moment. Yeah, it just does my head in how much they suck. All right, I'm going to do a couple of things. Gonna rinse my jigger. Because I might use it later. Right. Let me get some shot glasses. I have a bunch of shot glasses. You're right. I'm going to taste test some things side by side. You're right. You're really well right. Ooh, I need a sieve. Where's a sieve? In the washing machine. Dishwasher. Alright. One down. Right. So, gotta get a couple of things out of the fridge. It's the clarified one. This one and this one. I'm going to try these to do a comparison. All right, there's the plum one. Okay. Sorry, Abigail, am I the only one who call it plibbers? I'm sure I didn't invent it. I'm sure I saw it somewhere. But I think plibbers is pretty good, but she's fucking held back by how shitty federal Labor is generally. Same as Penny Wong's probably my favourite politician, but she's held back by how fucked the Labor Party are. Right, so this is Mrs. Angry's plum wine, vintage 1990 something. The cork broke into pieces, and so it's full of cork pieces. So I need to pour it through a sieve so I don't get cork. All right. This is one of my stoppers from one of my other bottles. Just happened to fit it quite nicely. Okay. It's the clarified plum wine. Ooh, that little silky texture you get from the whey, I really like. Now, Made in Eye Classic Vermouth. Rate as Penny Wong for PM just to see Pauline cringe. I think the way the rules work, Penny Wong would have to move to the lower house because she's in the Senate at the moment. And my sweet yuzu vermouth, for which I also had to use one of my stoppers. Okay, so I'm going to try these vermouths side by side. I'm going to show you these two. Okay, so this is the plum wine, and this is the clarified plum wine. So for those who've never seen me do the clarified thing, how you do that, you add an acidic juice. In this case, it was orange juice. So a citrus juice. And then you add it to milk, and the acid content makes the milk curdle. And then you filter it through coffee paper, and the curds all settle to the bottom, and they act as an additional filter, which gets you this really clear result. So, okay. Plum wine. It's got sort of spicy notes. It's not bad, though. Mrs. Angry is quite a good winemaker. Oh, yeah, Charlie, the media would be brutally merciless and racist. Yeah, it's like, hey, what? When we saw the unbridled misogyny leveled at Julia Gillard, she was a long way from perfect. But anyone who says there wasn't a constant onslaught of misogyny against her is full of shit. Yeah, after what happened to her, the idea of an Asian lesbian running is just like, I think she's my favorite politician, but I wouldn't wish it on her. This is also of the plum wine is of an indeterminate alcohol content. No idea what the alcohol content is. It. So how different does the clarified one taste? Very different. Oh, it's so much lighter, which is kind of predictable. Oh my God, it's so much lighter. Wow, that's really wild. Now, but how much does it taste like these vermouths? Rinse my mouth out a bit. And water. Made in Eye Classic. God, this is sweeter. So it's like a dry vermouth. Yeah, but it's very much from the same family. Even though this is Made in Eye's Classic, not their sweet, it's much sweeter than that. And this is yuzu vermouth. This is the Unico from South Australia. And it's really sweet compared to those. It's got this really red fruit taste, like black currants. It's just grape. It's the wine that's the basin, but it's so sweet. It's like black currants. Like, and I mean that in a good way. I love this vermouth. That's good. But Mrs. Angry's plum wine makes a really good dry vermouth. I think I might try and make a cocktail or two with it. So we all agree that despite the racism and sexism and homophobia Penny Wong would get, it would be funny to see what happened with Pauline Hanson's head exploding. That would be truly, truly magnificent to see, her complete inability to deal with it. As I've mentioned this one before, but I think the moment where I decided Penny Wong was definitely my favorite politician is when she was in the ABC studios. This was years ago because it involves Joe Hockey, when Joe Hockey was federal treasurer. And she was coming out of a studio. It was radio studios, but there were ABC, so there were cameras there as well. And she's coming out of a studio and she has to squeeze past Joe Hockey, who does this smarmy, like, and more than slightly uncomfortable, but really smarmy, "Hi, Penny." And she just looked at him and went, "Ugh," and walked off. Like, fucking hell. It was like just being unable to hide your contempt from someone who thoroughly deserves your contempt, like so deserves your contempt. She just was completely unable to hide her contempt, and it was fucking magic as far as I'm concerned. So that was probably the moment. But she's just generally, like, in the Senate, she's a fucking head kicker, which I love. She is most certainly my favorite Australian politician. Very low bar. There's a very low bar. It's like a friend of mine who is super pissed off at the people who idolize Dan Andrews because he's been on the receiving end of boots authorized, supported, and applauded by Dan Andrews at a climate protest, like when the cops just obscenely, violently assaulted non-violent protesters. Dan Andrews backed him all the way because he fucking loves the cops. And this friend of mine is particularly worked up at people who idolize Dan Andrews. And although, like, he's radical left, just because he's got the shits with Dan Andrews, it kind of makes him sound like a Murdoch columnist or something. And I just said to him, yeah, look, okay. My personal opinion is Andrews is, I think it's safe to say he crests the incredibly low bar of being the best political leader in this country. I think that is true. I think he's the best political leader in this country when you look at the state premiers and at the federal level. It's just, that's such a low bar. And but I'm more than willing to say that, but I'm not going to fucking idolize the guy because, like I said, he fucking loves the cops and never met a punitive enforcement measure he didn't like. But generally, he's doing amazingly well in a mind-bendingly difficult job. Can't imagine the sort of pressure he's under, and he never seems to show it as well. Stella, it's your mood with your boss. You're going to be glad when he pisses off back to Perth. Safa, you and Aidsy and Johnny went till midnight last night. You had fun talking. I think Aidsy really loves hanging out and talking because he's by himself. Ooh, Charlie, has anyone tried Nolly Pratt? I have not, but there's a lot of talk about it. It is also a vermouth, of course. It's French, is it? I'm just looking it up. It's let's have a look. It's on Dan's. Uncle Dan's. Most famous of all vermouths, a dry straw-hued vermouth from Marseille in the Hérault department of southern France. Joseph Nollet, a herbalist, developed the first formula in 1813. First example of a dry vermouth, and is among the golden, straw, and white vermouths, generally known as French vermouth. Yeah, so it is actually cheaper than the good Australian vermouths like Maid and I, but more expensive than Cinzano. It's probably good. I think Nolly Pratt is regarded as very good. Charlie just saw it on special at Dan's. Yeah. Yeah, Safa, hopefully AZ got enough sleep. He said he's joining. We'll see him at some point, maybe. Yes, I am going to stick with the Maiden Eye and the Regal Rogue. I'm almost finished this Maiden Eye Classic. The Regal Rogue I have is like semi-dry, so as a replacement, I got Maiden Eye Sweet. But I've got all this sweet yuzu. Look at it, so dark. It is so dark. That's very dark for a vermouth. That's really good. Yes. So I might look up a recipe for a low alcohol content one. It's usually a vermouth one. What the fuck? ABV. Is that low proof cocktails to try now? There we go. So the Americano is, of course, a classic low alcohol one because it got turned into a Negroni by having gin added to it. Campari Sweet Vermouth and Club Soda. Highball, a Mimosa, gross. A Queen Elizabeth. Benedictine and dry vermouth and some gin. Have a look at that. A Kia Royale. Champagne and creme de cassis. Ooh, a sherry cobbler. Maybe that. Sherry sugar citrus and ice. No. Magic Hour. Leather Rose. Grapefruit juice. Sparkling wine. No. A bamboo. I think that's the one I'm looking at. Dry vermouth and dry. Yes. I think I want to try that one. And Adonis. Sherry and vermouth. Get the recipe. A grasshopper, creme de menthe, and creme de cacao, and cream. Okay, I reckon I want to try one. What's a Queen Elizabeth is dry vermouth, and they recommend Nolly Pratt, Benedictine and lime juice. Try that. A bamboo is dry sherry, dry vermouth, bitters. Okay. And an Adonis is Fino Sherry and sweet vermouth. Got Fino Sherry. Sweet vermouth. Sherry vermouth. And bitters, I think. And Benedictine. Yeah, I'm going to try those two, actually. South Australia people can consume alcohol vertically in pubs now. Don't have to be sitting down. Oh, Raiders. Yes. The Brad Pascal takedown. Then the cops crash tackled him. Yes. Oh, no. Kirsten, the place you were going to live in has fallen through. That is a bit stressful. That is a bit stressful. Stella's watching a concert, so she's muted me. That's fine. So if anyone wants to talk to Stella, you talk to her in the chat. So she's going to watch out. Oh, Kirsten, yeah, I'm sure you'll get a replacement, but yeah, that kind of sucks. All right, I know what I'm going to make. With the plum one. Yeah, so vermouth and Benedictine and lime juice. And the other one's just vermouth and a sherry and some bitters. One says shake one and stir the other. I think I'll shake them both, honestly. All right, I'm going to try this. Ooh, I never fucking cleaned my shaker after last night. That's bad form. That is bad form. I just got to rinse this, clean it a bit. Oh! Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Just take me a second to do this. Not going to do anything very fancy. Rinse it. Rinse my strainer. Shake your booty, and do it. All right. All right. Tough, only 3 cases left in regional Vic. Yeah, obviously we're doing fairly well in Melbourne too. The cases haven't gone right down, but they've gone down, so that's good. So I need to get the sherry, so I'm going to put these back in the fridge. All right. Oh. Get the sherry out. There's still a lot of sherry in the bottle. Put some ice in this shaker, I guess. Who drinks the iced tea? That would be young Mr. Angry. Liked iced tea. Hasn't been drinking it lately, but I got it for him. Wheat. Lime juice. That I have squozened. Benedictine was the other thing. Where's the Benedictine? Is that it? I think that's it. I'll find my Benedictine. That's it. So many bottles of booze. So anyway, I bought a bunch in the last week because I ran out of a couple of things, and I was going, I'm amazed at how much space there is. My drink trolley, I have to buy a few things. I bought a few things, and I was like, oh, the drink trolley. I find myself looking at it going, that's a fuck ton of booze. That is a fuck ton of booze. That's going to take me a while to get through. Oh, wait, I didn't get my jigger. With my jigger at. All right. Now, ready to. Oh, and I'm going to get this glass. It's clear ice. Look cool. Safa, Benedictine reminds you of Pope Benedict. Name comes from the same place. The Benedictine monks were named after Saint Benedict, and that's the saint whose name the Pope took. Ruit. Oops, I just realized what I was doing wrong there. Foolishness. Queen Elizabeth. I think that will be a stronger taste, and I'll have that second. So the bamboo is just dry sherry, dry vermouth, and some bitters, which I have there. All right. All right. Which one's this? The bamboo. I might do that with the unclarified plum wine, because I'm just comparing what they're like in drinks. So 1.5 ounces of sherry. Sherry. I feel like a granny drinking sherry. That's what grannies drink. 1.5 ounces of plum wine. That'll do. Gotta filter out the goddamn cork pieces. Root. And bitters. Dash of citrus. Oh, yeah, you go in the shaker. There you go. Good job. Well done, team. Dash of citrus bitters. Dash of Angostura bitters. Because I'm a bitter old man. Some bitters in there. And then we shake it like a Polaroid picture. So if you saw the Pope in 2018 in the Pope-mobile. Right, is my booze collection insured? No, I don't think you can because I'm just going to drink it. All right. Let's made it firm up a bit. Probably should put it in like a coupe or something to be stylish, but just putting it in this one. A lot of volume to this one. 3 ounces, I guess. So, okay. This is my version of a bamboo with homemade plum wine taking the job of vermouth. That just tastes like grape juice. Like, not in a bad way. It's just got this really neutral grape juice taste, which is not what I was expecting. It's not a taste I usually get from cocktails. So that was quite a surprise. Oh no, Stella's watching a COVID concert with no audience and feels bad that the band's not getting applause. That's got to be weird. That's got to be weird. Oh dear. So, yeah, it's a really weird taste. Like, it's not bad at all. It's just I'm used to. I specifically made this was like a low alcohol content cocktail. Probably what's sherry? 15%. The plum wine's probably only 10 or 15%, but who fucking knows? As opposed to, if you're making a cocktail with spirits, they're like 40% and up. If you're putting liqueurs, they're less. They're somewhere between 20 and 40%. But the ingredients in this are probably only 15% alcohol. And I was expecting it to have a stronger flavor, but it's just like grape juice. And here's AT.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Safa was saying that y'all stayed up really late chatting and stuff. He's hoping you got some sleep today. Did you sleep today?
I got a bit of sleep today. I was supposed to have some playtime with boss of the house, and he decided to let me sleep instead. And then he woke me up and said, I'm gone. I'm gone. We were supposed to playtime. He said, yeah, I know, but I'm gone. I'm gone. Oh, that's harsh. He said, no, it's really late in the afternoon. That's not nice. He said, you should have woke me up. And he said, I did. I said, oh, God. And then and then I said, oh, God. And I said, they didn't wake me up. And he said, I know. And I said, did you want to really make me sleep? And he said, don't know.
Was he doing a
And
crazy
every
thing once
time,
in concern for?
is a question he doesn't want to answer. He just says, "I don't know."
Yeah. Oh well. No, I'm just trying to get.
I've got lips of disapproval.
Got the pursed lips of disapproval. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But how's things generally?
Pretty good actually. Fuck. I didn't do a thing. I didn't do 3 things I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm gonna have to do them. I'm gonna have to do them while we're doing this. Shit.
Right. I just got to trim my ice. I got some of my beautiful, sexy, clear ice to come out of. Yeah.
What'd you make?
I just got to trim it. This'll do.
What'd you make it in?
Hang on a second, I'll show you. Just got to put it in the freezer now to use it another time.
I see.
All right. Put it in here. Okay, that's enough of that ice now. See, I learned this. This is why you go on YouTube, because you learn things. And I learned this trick from another YouTube channel. If you use an insulated coffee mug, you get directional freezing. It can't. Why ice is cloudy is it freezes from all directions, and there's always impurities and air and stuff in the water, and they get frozen in place, and that's why ice is cloudy. But if you can induce directional freezing, and there's a number of ways to do it, if you induce directional freezing, it freezes in one direction, and it pushes the impurities away, and only the very last bit of ice will have the impurities on it, and you just cut that off. What I did is not even let it all freeze. I could see it had got to the point where impurities were becoming visible. And so the bottom bit of it was still water, in fact. And so when I shook out, and it's weird because this is completely inflexible. It's a very hard, rigid metal coffee holder. And so, like with an ice cube tray, you twist it, or you can't do that with that. This, you just have to wait for it to thaw out a bit, and when it melts a little bit, then you get it. And so, luckily, I masturbate a lot because I stand over the sink shaking vigorously. All those years of masturbation come in handy then, and shake it out, and then it slides out, and there was just a little bit of partially formed ice on the end, and I just chopped that off, and what's left is this beautiful clear ice, which looks really sexy. It's like what's in this glass, actually. Clear ice. So I'm experimenting. I'm making cocktails. Were you around when I was explaining Mrs. Angry has home wine that she made? And it's from the 90s. This is not 1990 something vintage. This is a plum wine. And I thought it tastes like a vermouth, because that's what a vermouth is, aromatized wine. And that's wine that's had additional aromatics put into it, plum and some herbs and stuff. And I thought, well, that's a vermouth. I can probably use it. And so I made a very low alcohol cocktail. It's just vermouth and sherry. It's called Bamboo. So because any spirit, because you do, a martini has vermouth in it. God, you look at the moment with that fantastic hairdo, which I love. You look like the guy from the History Channel who's in all the memes going, aliens. You just need to strike the pose now and go, aliens.
Aliens.
Yes. who's
among us.
Aliens. That's who made
what kind of voice? It's got like a Southern California voice or a Northern California voice.
Yeah.
Or is he more like New York?
I've never heard the guy talk. I've only seen him in memes. I have no idea what his voice is like. But his haircut has got progressively wilder over the years, as have the theories of, well, the pyramids happened in a place where there were no white people, so it must have been aliens. Because white people didn't know how to do it, so it must have been aliens. To which, all the brown people say, or or fuck you, man, fuck you.
Well,
Yes,
where's the
ancient alien.
pyramids now, black bear people?
I love one of the conspiracy theories is people show pyramid-like structures from around the world, like the famous ones in Egypt, and then the ones in South America, and then the ones in parts of Asia. And they go, and this is the whole aliens theory. They go, these happened in completely different parts of the world where they had no contact with each other. This shows it's aliens. Or through trial and error, people worked out that's how you stack up a big pile of rocks and have them not fall down. Like all the ones that were in less good shapes fell down, and they worked out.
That's fucking crazy talk.
Yeah, I know.
It's aliens, and they cut rocks out with lasers, and they made people push them, and then they made people carve pictures on them, and then they didn't leave any plans behind and left for no reason at all.
Yep. And I saw another example of it the other day. It's some architecture. It's from one of the Central American or South American cultures that, got wiped out by colonizers. But the architecture on these buildings, the stone cutting, the masonry is so precise. Like you can't even get a razor blade between the rocks. They're cut so precisely, you can't even get a razor blade in the gap between them. And again, as this person was drawing the same logic, because white people in Europe didn't know how to do this, it must have been aliens. And it's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Honestly.
Mm. Well, I mean,
I think Charlie knows the aliens got the idea from Egyptians. So, yeah.
No one got any idea from a Jippo, mate. That didn't happen.
It's from Futurama.
Idea from a Jippo was the clap.
You remember the old Mel Gibson movie Gallipoli? That's the That's the bit that's the bit you're channeling when they're actually training in.
It is, isn't it? It is, isn't it?
That's fucking great.
The dirty, filthy Jippos that give me the clap.
And
he goes out hoeing for the first time in his life and gets a dose.
And one of them buys an antique that is obviously fake, and but he's a bit gormless, and he's like, "Oh, what do you mean he ripped me off?" And they said, "Don't worry, I'm going to sort it out." And Mel leads the boys. He says, "Like, show us which one it was." And he goes, "Oh, it's this shop here." Goes in and says, "Give my mate his money back." He goes, "No, he buy an antique. That's it." He's like, "No, give him his money back." And the guy's going, "Well, it's his. It's not mine." And Mel just starts smashing everything in the shop. And so give him his money back. And so he goes, "Take money, go, 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 go." And they all go like, "Big win, mate." And then the big stupid guy who's got the antique, as they're walking away, the guy in the next shop peers out with his suspicious, swarthy face. And the guy goes, "Fellas, I think it was that shop." Just these guys going in, smashing shit up, and they don't.
That's a very Australian thing, that. You know, a publican in Queensland was knocked out of bed one morning. He and his wife, an angry young three men were screaming and yelling, and they proceeded to go inside and burn down the pub. The publican managed to arouse and get the other 5 people who were staying at the hotel out. And then confronted the young man when the cops and the fireys had turned up. "Fuck are you doing?" And he says, "Well, you haven't done this, Cheryl," and blah, 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 blah. And he's looking at him and says, "You're not Daryl."
Yes.
The publican annoyed goes, "No, I'm not Daryl. That's Daryl's pub on the other corner."
Whoops.
Police people, you can take him away, thanks. I'll have his farm.
Yeah, put him in a hole and don't let him come out.
And he did. And the judge went, "You're a goose. You've lost your farm."
Yeah.
Oh, but it's 100 years, and they had the goal to fucking try the man on the land.
Yeah.
There's 100 years of Australian history in that farm.
Yeah.
Strip mining your topsoil for profit.
Yeah.
And as the judge went, yep. And now there's going to be $4 million worth of repairs in it as well. See how the Chinese go raising cows. And the Chinese did buy it, and they raised vegetables and gold. Which rather annoyed the locals.
They're a bit more creative.
Yeah. They instead of open cut mining, they dug a very big ramp into the ground, and they built a big fucking highway from their property to the main road, all the way into the main road. And big fuck off semi trailers would go there 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
dragging gold ore out of the ore crushers. Everything was underground. Underground, and they used a great deal of the soil that they dragged out of the ground to mix with garbage that they'd imported from green waste garbage that they'd imported from the cities. That they were paid to do. They were paid to take away this waste, and they ground it all up and made it fertile, and then laid it all out on the shitty typical Australian clearfield paddocks.
Yes,
and put fucking grass and cows and trees and nut trees and sheep and fruit trees and cows and let the bloody thing run itself. And then once a year they'd round up the sheep, and at the other end of the year they'd round up the cows, and they just let it go. Let the black fellas run the top, and they let the miners run the bottom. And there were only thing that you could tell it was different. There was 4 very, very big buildings on the surface, very, very big buildings. And one of them was the aircraft maintenance hangar, and there were helicopters going in and out all the time, and all the farmers complained about the helicopters until they said, we can help round up your cattle and that. Yeah, all right, no worries. So a lot of us had bowl, and the pub was rebuilt and named in honour of the local river. I can't remember the name of the river. It was in Queensland. All this wasn't the Onkaparinka.
You get stupid stuff stuck in your head. What immediately popped out, some deep forgotten memory, just when you mentioned sheep. You know how when we grew up, the Dave Allen show was repeated forever on the ABC. And for those who don't know, Dave Allen is an Irish comedian and raconteur. And
he's dead now.
Brilliant storyteller. So fucking. There's heaps of video of him on YouTube. He's really good. And he had this one. He's talking about his time in Australia because he spent a bit of time in Australia, and he made a movie here and whatnot. But then he's going back home. But he had bought a house with a yard and stuff, and someone said, "Are you selling?" And he goes, "No, I'm going to keep it. I'll probably come back once a year or something for a holiday." And the guy says, "Oh, well, you want to keep the grass down. You should get a sheep. Get a sheep. Sheep will be perfectly happy. It'll just eat the grass, and the grass will be kept down." And he goes, "Okay, I guess this guy knows what he's talking about." So he bought a sheep and had it in the yard and mulcher. And he came back and it was an extended period. He'd been away like a year or two, and he came back, and the sheep had kept the grass down, but of course its wool had grown and out of control, and it was just like this big puffball. And even a pom looked at it and went, "That's not right. Oh no, sheep aren't.
That's too much.
Sheep aren't meant to look like a circular ball of wool. That's not right." So he he looked in the yellow pages because this was the 60s or 70s. He looked in the yellow pages, sheep shearing. It must be and he finds sheep shearing. Excellent. There's a phone number. And he rings the number and he says, unbeknownst to me, this was the biggest sheep shearing consortium in Australia. And he
rings an agency.
They actually organised for the shearing of literally millions of sheep. And he rings them up and says, I'm calling up about getting sheep sheared. And this it falls into the whole because, of course, the singular is sheep and the plural sheep. And the person on the phone says, how many? And he says, just one. And the person says, 1,000? And he goes, no, one, a sheep. And he said, and there was just a couple seconds silence on the line. And then the guy comes back on and says, really? What's its bloody name then? Because he's got this guy with an English accent calling him, who normally does orders in the tens of thousands in a single go to shear a single fucking sheep. And he's like, what the fuck is this nonsense coming into my day?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, okay.
Right there for a while.
Yeah.
What's your cocktail?
Well, I've been toying with making like low alcohol cocktails with Mrs. Angry's plum wine, and I made one that was just the recipe's just vermouth and sherry, and this wine is the vermouth in that thing, and it was weird. It just tasted like grape juice. I'm so used to cocktails having a kick, and this just it was not unpleasant, but it just tasted like grape juice, which is really weird. But this one I made is a bit more like a normal cocktail. It's still low alcohol content comparatively. And it's called a Queen Elizabeth, and it's the vermouth and Benedictine. And what percentage is Benedictine? Product of France, yes. I'm trying to work out what alcohol content this is. It's not a lot. It's not like a spirit. Wait a sec. It's 22 standard drinks. Maybe it is. Where's the? Well, it's a liqueur, but some liqueurs are high alcohol content. Where is the fucking alcohol content on this? Oh wait, there it is. Oh, it's fucking 40%. Okay. Yep, it is 40%. Okay, but it's only 3/4 of an ounce of the 40% Benedictine, which is spirit strength, definitely. And it's got lime juice as well. This is a tasty little number. This is more my sort of drink. It's really nice. It's like the other one wasn't bad, but it was super weird. There was it was such a neutral taste, and it's like, no, this is just grape juice. This is, which is fine. Like you drink that chilled on a hot summer day. You can have a tall glass of it, and you're not going to get shit faced. You just like drinking white wine, but it's a bit more interesting. But so I experimented. Safa as the plum wine is predictably a very brown color, and I clarified some of it. And Safa quite accurately said the clarified plum wine does look like a urine sample. It always does. When I do the milk clarification on something that's brown, it always comes out looking like a urine sample. It's just a question of how hydrated was the person who gave the sample. It's usually somewhere from pale yellow to amber or even orange. So sometimes it looks like someone who is very poorly hydrated, possibly has a urinary tract infection. But this is a urine sample from someone who's really quite well hydrated. That's a pretty weird one. But I don't know. I'd call that a successful experiment, really. What are you up to? Making some coffee?
Yeah, I just kicked me chair like. Both the house got some new chairs.
Oh, nice.
The legs come just outside of the seats, so when you walk past them, you go twack on your toes, and it's like that. So I'm making a coffee, and my experience is ruined by
Rude.
smashing my foots.
Yeah. I got a chair there. It's pretty boring looking, but I got a chair from the office. It was wild, like they were saying, because everyone is working from home, and they'd done this thing, and they said, "Oh, do you need something from the office, like a second monitor or a chair or something?" I thought I don't really have enough room for a second monitor on my desk. I went, "Yeah, an office chair. I mean, I've got my own computer chair, but I thought, I don't know, an office chair. I'll have one." And then they said, "Oh, that's not happening anymore." They gave permanent staff a grant of a couple $100 to buy stuff to set up a home office. And I'm not permanent staff, so I'm not getting that. So I went, oh, but then the guy said, oh, but there's this other thing where you can register your interest and say, like, I know you filled in one form that said, I want a chair. But now if you go to this other bit on the intranet and fill out a thing saying, I want a chair, you might still get one. And I went, okay. And this was a couple of weeks ago, and I filled it out. And yesterday there was a knock at the door, and I actually got 3 parcels yesterday. So I thought it was going to be one of the parcels, but it's just this dude dropping off a chair from the office. So I've got like a really not super expensive, but I think that sort of chair would probably cost at least $300 or $400. So I got a pretty good.
All right, isn't it?
Yeah, I got a pretty good office chair now. So yeah, I got an office chair and some other things delivered yesterday, notably booze, but also non-booze things. I have definitely bought a lot of booze in lockdown, but I try and mix it up, buy stuff for the house that is not actually booze. And really mundane stuff like mattress protector for the bed. Shirts. I bought some shirts, and and I got a few other non-booze things on order. But I think I'm at least temporarily suspending booze purchases until I run out of some stuff. If I run out of some stuff, I'll replace it. In fact, I don't have much Curacao. I got the Marionette Curacao, which is made locally, just up the road, basically. And when I run out of that, I'll probably buy something more from Marionette because I like to support local business. Annette, when do I reckon I'll be going back to the office? Not before next year. And even then, I'm going to avoid it for as long as possible. The general talk is a significant number of people, even if we get to normal, want to keep working from home because they reckon it works at least 2 or 3 days a week. So that's absolutely something I'd be doing, trying to work from home for at least 2 or 3 days a week. Because it's just so much less stressful than fucking jumping on public transport. Because that's the one thing I'm really not keen on. If someone says, things are going back to normal, I don't want to get on crowded fucking public transport with a bunch of disease carriers. Because I do not envision I will be getting I don't think I'll be getting a vaccine until the second half of last year in a best case scenario, because I don't think the vaccine will be available to anyone much until, and again, in a best case scenario, like halfway through next year. And the first people are going to be frontline workers, vulnerable people, By the time it gets to Joe Public, it'll be at best late next year. Kirsten, yes, I deliberately posted that picture so people could see the Only Bitters sticker. And I actually spent $200 at Only Bitters. I got a coconut rum they had. That was the old Trinidad Tobago, but they imported the rum and then did coconut wattle seed maceration to make this coconut rum here in Melbourne. I got sweet vermouth from Maideneye. I got Wonderfoam. I actually remembered Wonderfoam. I got butterfly pea flower extract so I can experiment with making drinks purple. And I got some glasses. I don't know if anyone remembers. I think it was Saturday night. I broke a glass, and it wasn't even a drunk thing. I'd put glasses in the freezer to chill them, and I'd had one in like the door of the freezer, and I opened the door of the freezer quickly. Physics took over and tipped the glass out. And it was one of my favorite glasses, this Nick and Nora glass with etchings in the glass that's really beautiful, and smashed the fuck to pieces. And but the Bitters Lab carries those glasses. So I bought 2 of them from the Bitters Lab. So it was like booze, Wonderphone, purple stuff, and 2 glasses. So that was quite a haul I got from the Bitters Lab. I waited until the Sunday announcement because I thought maybe they'll lift the travel restrictions in Melbourne and I can go over and pick it up. But no, they are not lifting the travel restrictions in Melbourne. And the Bitters Lab is a lot further than 5 kilometres from my home.
So what's the restrictions now? Because my head's been in a rock.
Cannot travel more than 5 kilometres from your home unless you've got a super good reason.
Anything else?
Curfew is bye-bye.
Mask, obviously.
Mask, obviously. No more curfew. Curfew's completely gone. You can't gather with more than like one person that you don't live with. You're allowed to gather, like 2 different households can decide we want to hang out together. You can gather in groups of up to 5 people, but only from 2 different households.
Yeah.
And people are breaking that rule left, right, and center, and that's a $5,000 fine. And this weekend, Saturday, is going to be really warm, and the cops have said ahead of time they're going to be going through parks and the beaches and shit, and they will not hesitate to fine people. And people are dumb as shit, and they'll think it doesn't apply to them, and they'll go to the park.
Oh, it doesn't matter because I remember being on a bus. It was a 38-degree day, and it was going to be 42 the next day. There was already a total fire ban, and they were deciding whether the next day was going to be catastrophic or not.
Yes.
And this dumb as fuck munted turd breath New Australian said, well, I'm having a barbecue tomorrow. And some citizen on the bus said, you can't. It's a total fire ban unless it's one of those gas ones that you have undercover. Nah. See, because I'm having it. Because I'm having it at my place in my backyard.
Yeah.
And because it's on your property, it doesn't matter because they can't tell you what to do on your property. And a few people on the bus are going, well, they can. A total fire ban is a total fire ban. Like
if you light a fire, you're in trouble.
And one of the high school kids said, you can technically get in trouble for lighting a cigarette in a total fire ban.
Which people have. People have been fined for throwing the match down after.
I've seen people get punched in the head in Canberra for throwing matches away.
Yeah.
I've seen them get a punch in the face.
Well, that's less legal.
Get a fucking match. Whack. I'm gonna get fucking smack. Yeah. I've seen people get punched in the head for throwing a cigarette and throwing a match. It was it's a good way to educate people to our ways. And
education.
This guy was adamant that he was having his barbecue.
Yeah.
And finally someone said, anyway, so the kid said, yeah, technically if you light a cigarette, you can get in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck could you know? Blah, 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 blah. And so this girl next to him's on her phone and says, okay, the Victorian rules for total fire ban. According to the Australian Victorian government website, is that any fire of any description outside of a cooking place inside a home or dwelling, meaning inside a house, is illegal and will be finable up to $85,000, something like that. It's an enormous fine.
Yeah.
It's a you lose your stuff fine. And he's going, well, it's fucking bullshit. And she says, well, it's the it's what the Victorian government says.
Yeah.
It's, obviously, and she said, obviously, you've probably been in there and legislated differently since then. And this is old. This is only last year. It's probably different now. But you're allowed to do whatever you want in your place. And then I had to put my fucking 2 cents in, didn't I? And I said, do you own the place freehold? And he said, yeah, what do you mean? I said, do you own the place freehold? What's that? And I said, okay. Do you own the house, the land, and the mineral rights under it? And he said, well, yeah. I own the land and the house. I said, hang on, have you got a mortgage on this? And he said, well, yeah. Hey, was there anything in any paperwork saying mineral rights? And no. And so you don't actually own the place freehold? No, I guess not. And I said, right, what you've got there, and anyone with a mortgage might be interested in this, is what you've actually technically got is an Australian land purchase, which is a fancy form of lease. You've actually got government land, which they will let you sit on for 99 years. In Canberra, this is formalised. You can't buy land in Canberra. You can only buy it for 99 years.
Yeah.
You're going to lease it for 99 years. And then when they renew it, they make you pay $1. And you can renew the lease for another 99 years. I'm not sure how they do it in Queensland. I think they fucking take a few more bucks than that. Or they say, we've already taken it out of your rates. Don't worry about it, mate. But they, it's not actually yours freehold unless you own the buildings, the land, and the mineral rights underneath, and then it's freehold, and then it's much, much, much more expensive too. But it can't be taken off you or your generational heirs for once and for good, and that's what makes lords over in Europe. That's what makes royal families.
England has the 99-year lease thing. You're not really buying it; you're buying a 99-year lease. So, but people fall into the trap. Real estate, they think that it's called that because it's real. It's an actual thing, and I go, no, for whatever weird reason, that's Spanish. That's real estate, royal estate. It's land granted to you at the whim of the crown, and at any time, the crown can go, cool bananas, dude, we want that back. And effectively, in Australia, exactly as you say, unless you hold a freehold title, the government can exercise its rights and say, we'll buy it back, but you actually don't have a choice.
We will buy it back for a fair price. And our assessors have assessed that it's worth $1.50.
That's what happens when they build freeways and shit.
Sorry?
That's what happens when they build freeways and shit.
And
the actual terms escaping me. Eminent domain. The government just says, The needs of the people outweigh the needs of you as an individual, and you actually don't have a choice. We're buying it for this amount. It's the same as Trump's border wall.
Actually, better off going, I understand the needs of the people are important, but you understand that I've put a lot of my investment in. Would you see me right? And the government will often go, fair enough. Here's a reasonably sized equity package for what you've put in. But if you arc up and go, you're not taking my fucking land, they'll go, righto, under eminent domain, we can take it for $1.50. So you can fuck off. And we own everything on it, all your possessions, property. And, there's the big great footage of people loading up their ute with their possessions because the government's coming and they've got to get everything off they can because the government has said anything left on this property is ours.
Yeah. Anything. Abigail points out you can fight them in the High Court under the Constitution and use the argument, it's the vibe, it's Marbo, it's
the vibe. It's the vibe.
I have to rewatch The Castle. That movie was so good. And just like that guy who's like the worst lawyer in the world going, why shouldn't he give up his property under eminent domain? It's his home, man. It's the vibe. And a QC actually happens to see it and think, I want to take your side. And so the QC takes it on pro bono. But just his whole speech, it's the vibe.
It's the vibe. It's Marbo.
It's just fantastic. And the best thing about the castle is his home is so shitty. And it's next to a fucking airport. And it's noisy and it's shitty. But it's his castle. And how's the Serenity? That's his holiday home where he's going.
That's his holiday home. It's his holiday
how's
home.
The Serenity?
And he invites the QC to go fishing with him out at the Serenity. And out at Bonnie Dude.
Bonnie Dude.
And then he goes. And you see a photo of him out at the Serenity going, here's my food.
And he's always so impressed at what his wife cooks. This is fantastic, doll. What do you call this? Chops. Oh, it's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Ritzel.
Any gift that anyone brings is going straight to the pool room.
Straight to the pool room.
And the pool table's just wonderful because you put the ball on and it rolls. You've actually got to hold the ball as you're playing the shot because otherwise roll away. It's fucking awesome.
Oh God, I have to rewatch that movie. That's just Rissoles. That's the other one, Annette. That what do you call that, love? Rissoles. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
What kind of dinner did you have on the flight out? I think it was some kind of nasi goreng. All right. Did they serve it on a round plate with chopsticks or just with knife and fork? Just with knife and fork. Anyway, right, and that was the questions of the narrator of the story.
Yeah.
Because the kid is the narrator of the story, and he narrates the whole movie is from his point of view, and he asks very detailed questions from everyone's point of view.
Yeah.
And he gets very detailed answers, and they're all going,
because he wants to write his family story. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he idolizes his dad. We're sitting there going, this is a good laugh. But he idolizes his dad. And it's just great.
And the brother that's in prison is he's an all right kind of kid. He just fell in with the wrong crowd and did something criminal.
It was like drug dealing and armed robbery, I think. Tell him he's dreaming. Yeah. That's the other classic bit that got into the Australian vernacular.
When someone 450 streaming.
Gentlemen, either when someone doesn't want to pay you what something's worth, or when someone wants too much for something, just tell him he's dreaming.
He's dreaming.
There you go. Safa plays footy at Bonnie Doon.
Bloody, that was the thing for a long time in Australia. Actually, after a while there, it was dreaming, The only other one from popular culture that's really, and it's still held today.
Yeah.
It was Not Happy Jan.
Which was a fucking commercial. And that was...
It was a commercial for the Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
And it was genius. It was the best ad ever made. And people still, to this day, in workplaces, go, Not Happy Jan.
And just in case there's anyone too young to remember, the Yellow Pages, because my dad was a small businessman. He was a photographer, had his own business. When the Yellow Pages was literally the only way people found businesses, you had to put an ad in the Yellow Pages. If you did not, no one would ever ring you. And so it was a cash cow. Like they would just charge for a minimum listing, it's like $750. And this was 20, 30 years ago. For big listings,
and if you're a straight business, if you had an ACN, you got a listing, but it was just a line.
Yeah.
It was a line with your business name, maybe your name and address and number.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. Every business was in there.
Relevant section.
But to get noticed, to be bold or have a bigger one, you know, and like my dad used to say, like once a year, he got this $750 stubby holder because the sales rep for Yellow Pages would come around and he'd buy his ad, and the guy would say like, "Oh look, we've got these, you know, fucking Yellow Pages stubby holders." And my dad would just be like, "Excellent, $750 stubby holder, great." But the joke in this ad was the new Yellow Pages has come out, and the boss is looking at, "Oh, I've got to see our new ad in the Yellow Pages. Jan, the Yellow Pages here." And Jan instantly remembers she's forgot to place the Yellow Page. And that's you're fucked for a year.
Look,
you're fucked for a year.
Jan doesn't speak. Jan
doesn't
speak.
She just runs away.
Looks up from the typewriter with her eyes in the headlights, looks around, puts a scarf on, and then you can see her moving. And the next thing you see her, she's outside, moving across the road outside, away from the building.
And the boss is just forcing open a window that actually only opens this wide to shout at Jan down in the car park, "Not happy, Jan!" Because that you fucked a business for a year. If you forgot to put your Yellow Pages ad in, you fucked your business for a year.
You were screwed for a year. You had to fucking do things like, you know, hire Zeppelins.
Yeah.
You know,
as Kirsten points out, the Go-Go Mobile ad was another iconic Yellow Pages ad. G-O. The Go-Go Mobile.
No, not the dart. Not the dart.
Yeah, oh my God. And as Abigail points out, so many businesses start with multiple A's. It was a trivia question once, what animal appears most in the phone book? And the answer is the aardvark, because companies would call themselves aardvark something because they'd be double A then, so they'd appear up front.
In the Yellow Pages, yeah.
Yeah, right. In the Yellow Pages, you'd be, I'm aardvark bricklaying, I'm aardvark car repairs, I'm aardvark photography, because into the section for that business, you'd be up front because you were double A. But oh my God, the old days. We're fucking old. Hey, you know how I always look up what day it is? And I decided to commemorate this live stream. Today's the day judgment was handed down at the Nazis at Nuremberg, just because I think we should be doing a bit more of that today. This is
ripped off, man.
This is the anniversary of the controversy of the Nuremberg trials is you were trying them for something that wasn't illegal. It was bad, but they hadn't broken a law that was on the law books anywhere, because no one thought to put a law in, don't genocide a whole bunch of people.
That's right. That's right. That's why, by the way, just quietly, that's why Australia has never been done for the only successful genocide in history, which is the genocide of the Tasmanian Indigenous people. Where
so it's not against the law.
Australians killed an entire six nations of humans, an entire gene stock of humans died
side to side.
They went in a line from the top to the bottom and killed every last one of them.
There are still
successful.
there are
only
still mixed
successful
race people.
genocide
Yeah,
in history,
yeah,
like completed.
yeah,
There were some fucking really close calls, but it was the only one that actually done. But later on, when people said, "Oh, that was bad. You shouldn't have done that,"
yeah.
and everyone went, "Yeah, the multiple murder of." They didn't even bother to count them.
No,
Upwards
they
of
didn't.
several million people. Um, could have been considered bad. Yeah, there was no actual law.
No.
So there's never going to be any reparations for that.
Yeah,
There's never going to be any. There's never going to be any comeback for that
yeah,
legally,
yeah,
because well, there's two reasons. The first reason was there was no law, and secondly, there's very, very few people who could indirectly claim to be directly affected. There were genetically people who were related enough to the people of Tasmania to say that they were Tasmanian Indigenous, but not by any means direct.
no, there are still a lot of mixed race people there,
Mm,
but all the pure blood indigenous nations were murdered. And
mm.
famously, Truganini was the last surviving full blood Tasmanian native, and she wasn't actually murdered; she just died, which was thing.
She just
But
died of old age.
so yes, a lot of people don't realize the Nuremberg trials were a controversy because there was no actual law they were being tried under. There's like you couldn't point and say you broke this law, so we're going to punish you. It's just like you're super fucking bad and unspeakably evil, and we feel like we have to do something to you, which is really weird that we're not doing it strictly speaking legally. But you know what else it was today? The International Day of Older Persons. So it's our fucking day.
See,
All,
again, ripped off.
yeah, all these fucking whippersnapper fucking Zoomers and millennials. It's our day today because I think we're older than a lot of people, so I think that we qualify. It's
We're
not.
not actually older than most people yet, which scares me a
No,
bit.
we're not. We're not. But
Which
you
is a
know,
bit bother.
seeing a
By
little,
our age, you and
yeah,
I,
yeah,
we should be starting to get in the pointy end of the triangle. We're not.
yeah. The
And
boomers are living too long.
well, that was always the case, but uh, there's not a lot of there's been a bit of a bump in children made from the millennials. They're starting to pump a lot out now.
Yeah,
And there was a bit of a bump from the Generation Y, but depending on how these next two generations go, we still might be looking at that Japanese problem of having too many people on the pension and not enough people paying tax.
yeah.
And the Japanese will not allow people to emigrate into Japan. So, yeah, you make your bed, you lie in it.
Yeah, but
I mean, I can see
their
the
solution
point.
is robots. They're giving robot companions to old people, and it's probably going to fucking work.
It's probably going to fucking work, but they've got to. They keep on. For the first time in history, it looks like the generation that's coming up now is going to make less money than their parents, and as a result of that, their economy is going to stagnate, and that's going to be awkward for a country that doesn't control its own food supply. And you've got China just off the coast, who's got nothing against them
Yeah,
whatsoever, waiting for no opportunity at all to eat them alive. And there are so many cracks coming into the wall.
Yeah.
That the moment they slip up, China's just going to swallow them whole.
Yeah. Robot companions for old people. There was a great film from about 8 years ago called Robot and Frank. Frank Langella was the lead in it. He's playing like, an old guy who's getting a bit infirm, but he's a career criminal. Like he was a jewel thief his whole life, but he's too old to keep doing it. And his rich son buys this expensive robot companion for him to take care of him. And Frank hates it at first, but then he goes, wait, the robot wants to help me. The robot could help me do another caper. And he's trying to corrupt this household helper robot to help him do another jewel heist. It's such a good movie. If you've never seen it, dig it out. It's called Robot and Frank. It's really good because it plays with that whole idea of a future where older people have companion robots. But this guy's so devious, he corrupts his companion robot to help him do another robbery. It's fucking great.
Which is what you want, to have a jewel thief robot that hides on the ceiling. Like, I'm not going to get caught.
Yeah. But
pretend to be a chair now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we could all have robot, but the Japanese are really getting quite significant advances in domestic robots. Just companion, like they don't do anything useful. They're companions. Old people talk to them. They sit there and say, "Tell me about your day," and they'll talk and they'll listen and they'll weird and people bond with Roombas, for fuck's sake. Those little robot vacuum cleaners. People bond with them and treat them like they're a pet. Once something has a human form and talks to you, of course you fucking bond with it. Do you find the Roomba pets funny?
I've got to take a break.
Okay. That was intriguing. That was really quite strange. Okay. Charlie, you want a Roomba but to drive Ludo nuts? It would. Ludo's probably a bit big for a Roomba. Oh yeah, Bobo, you bond with your car. Heaps of people do. Heaps of people personify their car. I have this weird feeling AIDSy's thinking about people personifying their sex toys. And maybe that's just me, but I think that's why he got the giggles there and had to go, because he's thinking about people. But dude, are you going to come back? Because I'm going to bed. It's actually bedtime. ZP on Zed Pedro? Oh, you are back. Yeah, because I'm going to bed.
I have composed myself again.
Good.
I saw a person with a Roomba do some unspeakable things.
Oh yeah, no, I can believe that. The vibrating action
and
was
got their
probably a big
pet to
part
do
of
some
it.
unspeakable things with a Roomba as well.
Yeah.
And I will never. If you can imagine a Roomba, because they broke it, can you imagine a Roomba having a nervous breakdown?
Yeah.
And having a nervous tick, since it never quite got over it.
Yeah.
That was this room.
Oh dear. I did see when there's a webcomic. This guy had one. He's going, I think there's something wrong with my rabbit. Like it's programmed to sense when there's something in front of it and turn around. And it's in a hallway. And as it gets near the wall, a red light comes on and goes beep, and it reverses and goes in another direction. But sometimes it does it for no reason. And it goes down the hall, and the end of the hall is dark and you can't see what's there. And the Roomba goes down the hall, and then the light goes beep, and it comes back. It's just like there was something in the darkness at the end of the hall that made it come back.
Sometimes it does it for no reason at all.
No, there's no reason at all.
Nothing there.
Mr. Rattlebones. Anyway, good night, you fabulous people. It's been great having you here. Tomorrow night.
Thank you for letting me play on your advice. You are nice.
Tomorrow is, of course, Friday, which means it's not a school day after, which means party on, dudes. Got to make a few cocktails tomorrow night. Going to make a few videos. Going to party on down. Do the whole Angry Bunch thing if people are up for it. So if you can be here, be here. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time. Look after yourselves in the meantime. We'll catch you again soon. Bye for now.